But a funny thing has happened. Even though we are now supposedly more connected than ever, something's gone wrong. Instead of bringing people closer together, in many corners of the internet, it seems to have polarized people, driven them further apart. And if you've ever read a debate on a blog or an internet site, you know why. Conversations on the internet quickly descend into shouting matches. Opposing sides hurl insults at one another, hurl obscenities at one another, fire off these 25-page-long ranting monologues across the ether. They're not really talking at each other, they're shouting at each other. And the more outrageous you are, the angrier you are, the more extreme you are, the more creatively offensive you are, the more people come to your site. That means more click-throughs, and if you're a blogger, that means more advertising. And you like having those people coming to cheer and howl and shout along. It's this new era's equivalent of what happens in the high school lunchroom when there's a fight. Everyone swarms to see it. But unlike a fight, at least on the internet, at least in these arguments, no one's getting hurt, right? No one's actually getting hurt. Well, last month on YouTube, a couple of YouTube video bloggers got into one of those internet shouting matches with each other. One of them was an unusually combative YouTuber who calls himself the Amazing Atheist. This YouTuber's idea of creative video making is to find someone he doesn't like. There seems to be an entire world filled with those people. And then let loose a long and profanity-laced diatribe of hatred against that person. The other person in this exchange was a young man from Finland. This young man was clearly delusional. This young man's life was falling apart. He was evidently mentally ill. And so they screamed at each other. They shouted at each other, made one video after another where it was obscenity upon obscenity. And the young man, in the midst of this sea of video bile, became more and more visibly, obviously agitated. He began making threats. He began brandishing guns in his videos. After the last of them, he took one of those guns to a school in Finland, to the high school he graduated from. There, he killed 8 kids and then shot himself. It was the worst mass shooting in the history of that country. The day after that shooting, the Amazing Atheist put up a video. And he said, I knew he was going to do that the whole time we were talking. He was an idiot. But he used much more pungent language than that. Language that I will not repeat here in this sanctuary, even though God has probably heard those words before. I don't want to get in trouble with Presbyterian. That same day, the day after this young man he had been bullying and fighting with had taken the lives of 8 other people, this YouTuber then put up a video congratulating himself on the fact that for some reason, suddenly his traffic was up. And more people were watching his site. Great, this is wonderful for me. And then he got right back into making videos insulting people. There was not one single sign that he cared at all about the impact of the hatred that he poured into that disturbed young man. There was no sense of regret. There was no sense of remorse. There wasn't even an inkling of a sense of responsibility. It was as if that boy and those other people in the high school weren't real at all. The internet has made it very easy, terribly easy, for us to live in a darkness of isolation from one another. A darkness hidden away from what is real. Because it isn't real, is it? It isn't. It's nothing. It's virtual. Though it connects us, that connection easily turns into a way to depersonalize other people, to dehumanize other people, not to see them as other children of a loving God, but as nothing. As nothing at all. And if they are nothing, then it is easy to sit and type hatred into your laptop in the darkness of your basement office. It is easy to shout profanities into the tiny little webcam at the top of your laptop. Because the damage on the other end, you don't see it. You don't feel it, really. It's separate. And we allow ourselves, hidden away in the shadows of cyberspace, to spew hatred at one another and think that it doesn't matter. But that is a falsehood. It is a lie. It's an illusion. Because there is no place in all of creation that is hidden away from the light of God's love and God's